good afternoon, for some good evening. I'm going to wait for a couple more seconds for some people dropping in late, but I'll be diving into our first Winston product update webinar in a minute. Also checking with David whether everything is going in the right direction. First time I'm using this webinar software.
Yes, everything is going good.
Cool. All right. For most of you, well, you will probably already know this, but there's also some new faces today, so I'll give a short recap of myself and Winston. My name is Koen. I'm the founder of Winston POS. I've worked in restaurants for almost a decade, and I'm a real tech guy as well. So in Winston, I managed to combine those two passions. This webinar is specifically aimed at the current, but also future Winston POS dealers, and it features the main product updates that we've worked on for the past months in 2025. Also a short introduction about Winston itself. We're a restaurant point of sale system founded in Europe. We've got over 10 years of experience in the market and are trusted by the best restaurants in the world. We have many Michelin star restaurants also making use of our solutions. But at the same time, we know that great software isn't everything. Great software needs to be combined with great service. That's why we really value our network of resellers whom we work together with to put our product into the field and help the restaurants get everything up and running. With the end goal for us being to allow restaurants to deliver an exceptional guest experience. That's the thing that we hold dearest. Yeah, I just mentioned for us doing this together is important. That means we will offer the modern technology that allows you to get sites up and running. But at the same time, we don't force you into any specific deals with hardware vendors or payment processors or integrations. We want to make sure that you remain as free as you are today using Winston. At the same time, we also want to make sure that our users feel that same safety, freedom. And that's why we spend a lot of time on optimizing the user friendliness of our solution. Of course, even though you make a user-friendly system, there's so much you can do in POS. So that's why the local support from experienced point-of-sale dealers is very important to us. In just a bit, I'm going to be diving into the key product updates from 2025, featuring the redesign, mainly, well, of our whole interface really, but mainly of the order and payment screens. Happy hours, of course, very important in the US market. Split checks, where we really dived in deep. That's the one I personally like the most. And of course, modifiers on modifiers on modifiers and so forth, because yeah, modification is what it's all about in the restaurant industry in the US. David will give some background on how the seminar works as well.
Yes, hello everyone. Koen is going to present the new and improved features in a minute. And of course, during the webinar, it's also possible to ask questions if you have them. In the bottom of your screen, you can see a few buttons. You see one button with a raised hand. If you click that one, we can give you access to enter the stage to ask your question to Koen. And of course, it's also possible to use the chat functionality. You can ask your question there, and then I will make sure that Koen will answer your question.
Thanks, David. Yeah, so as David just mentioned, please feel free to keep it interactive. If you have any questions during the webinar, just raise your hand and we'll give you the stage to ask your question. Then it's time to dive in now. So first, I'll start off with the overall design improvements. Many of you or some of you will probably not even know our old design, but it was a little bit dated in our opinion. So we revamped it and gave it a more modern look. The major parts that have changed are the order interface, but I'd like to point out some more overall things at the start as well. For instance, the ability to modify the roles to access any of these buttons over here. So these are buttons that will allow you to modify the floor plan or allow you to add new tabs from the tabs interface. You can add a table, you can remove a table, or you can move a table or move a check. So you can move this one to there, for instance. But all of these functionalities can also be disabled at the user level, which will make sure that the buttons don't show and the functionality is not able to be accessed. Then I'll open the ordering screen for a table. There you can see our new category rail at the top of the product list. It's going to allow you to very quickly navigate through your menu to wherever you want to be. So if you click on beers, for instance, it will scroll towards beers in the main list. If you go to champagne after that, it will highlight champagne. So you can quickly work your menu. I'm personally particularly fond of this style of navigation. Even though there's a lot on your screen, it allows you to really quickly go to several groups of products. But with some other systems in the US, it's more common that you use groups like these ones over here, where you click and you enter a group, and then you can go back to your home page to see all the products again. We've also implemented that functionality to make sure you can do that you can have that freedom that we talked about before. So you can do it in whichever way you prefer. What we also did is add some visual indications to products that have modifiers on them by default. So here, for instance, the hot chocolate, you see the little plus at the top right of the product. It's indicating that there's a modifier on this product. So if you open it, you will see the modifier screen allowing you to modify this product. For instance, add some extra sugar to your hot chocolate, or you could even use one of the prepositions, which is also a new functionality, to say that it should go on the side. And then finally, you can send in your order. This is also a major revamp. Before we used to have tabs here, a tab for order and a tab for the check. So product would move from what you have in the order to the check. Right now, we place them under each other so that you can immediately see when you send in your order that a product gets added to the check. Also, any applicable admin fee or service charge, or whatever you want to call it, is added there immediately. Let me check that I'm not forgetting anything on the design. No, I think I covered most of this. Let me go back to the floor plan.
Hi, Koen. We got one question.
Sure.
Can you modify a modifier?
Yes, definitely. That's also one that's coming up later, but let's just dive into this one right now, as the question is coming up. So we have a build the burger product here, which basically allows you to build your own burger. You can also see that it's got some forced modifiers, where you see that you have a minimum of one and a maximum of one, so you have to pick at least one of the modifiers, and that's indicated by this red exclamation mark and the fact that the product is now pulsating in a little bit of red as well. That will stop once you fill all the required modifiers. But to show you the modifiers, you can see here that if you pick a burger, then you select which type of burger, And then on top of that, you can select the preparation, for instance, on the medium burger. Then you can add maybe some extras, so some extra pickle. After that, you can select a side, for instance, a salad. And then for the salad as well, you can pick the dressing that you put on top of the salad. So, and you can go as many levels deep as you would like. I mean, technically, you could put a dressing on a salad and pick an herb to add on to the salad and a way of preparing the dressing. It's basically limitless. Does that answer the question? We can't.
Yes, I think it answered the question definitely.
Cool. Thanks. I'll just send this one in as well. So I'm back at the floor plan now. Obviously, you've got different floor plans where you can navigate towards, but we also have a tabs list. So this is the floor plan is meant for table service, obviously. But if you're in a more bar type environment, then you probably would want to use the tabs list instead. If you go there, then by default your own user is selected, so the list is filtered on your own user. But you can also clear that and see all the different tabs in the system. And I believe recently we also added the possibility to select multiple users here, which then will save on this terminal. That's for the setting where multiple bartenders are working on a single terminal behind the bar in the evening, and they want to be able to see each other's tabs to help other people out that they're helping at the bar. There's also a lot of searching possibilities. By default, we only show the tabs which are not on a table, on a floor plan. But you can also say, I just want to look at my checks that I have in the restaurant, or I want to see only the open checks. You can search them, obviously, or filter them by order type that you configured in the order, and the type of check. So whether it's a tab, a table, or a concept. Concept is a little bit unclear. We should probably work on that translation a little bit. But the concept tabs are the quick service mode. The quick service mode is, sorry, I'll show you first the opening a tab from this interface will bring you to exactly the same page as you saw just from the floor plan. But if you navigate back, you get back to the tabs list. So it's exactly the same functionality, whether you're working on a table or a tab. You can do everything with the product list and ordering like that. And the same goes for quick service. The main difference, though, between quick service is that you don't have a check that you're filling up. You just have an order or check over here that when you add products to it, it immediately gets added here, and you don't have to send them to the check below in the interface, which you do have in your table. Once you click Send and Pay, it immediately sends the products into the kitchen. And so the products are already sent now, and then you can handle the payment once during that the kitchen is already working on the order. Let me go back to the tabs for a second. We made some nice steps in terms of being able to add a tab with a one-time pre-auth or an incremental pre-auth. So right now I'm adding a tab here for my own user. I've got the manager permission, so I can also assign it to another user, but I'm going to assign it to myself. I can give it a name, which you can also read from the card. And then there's no pre-auth amount set up over here now, but you could set up a pre-auth amount in the back office so that a $1 pre-auth would be put on the card, and that can be a one-time pre-auth. Basically means just checking the validity of the card, or it can be an incremental pre-auth, which will be upped every time you reach the pre-auth amount that is set. I don't have a card terminal associated with my machine right now because I'm just working from my laptop. But I can just open a tab like this, and then you can see that a tab is now added here. An empty tab is added under my name, and we can start bringing up some products on it. Let's see. Then I'm gonna skip on to the order types if there are no questions.
No questions yet.
Let's pay this one. So when people are phoning in an order, or when they're walking in for an order and they want to take it out, or they want to have it delivered, you can select an order type. So let's say I select takeout here, and I add some products there. Then I can go to the kitchen display. I think it's going to be this one. Yeah, so this is the last order that I just put in. It says the order type right here that it's takeout, so you can see that it's a different order from the rest. But you can also configure our kitchen displays to have your order, your takeout on a separate display in the kitchen. So it's not mixed with your dine-in orders, for instance. That's all configurable. Even whether you want to print a separate packing slip, stuff like that. You can configure that using the production lines in the back office. I won't dive too deep into those because they're so flexible that I could talk for half an hour just about how our production lines are configured and how they route the kitchens to your kitchen or to your restaurant. But I do want to show you a little bit of the kitchen display functionality. So right now the hot kitchen got this order, and they can start it. And once they've started it, they can either check off a single product, or they can decide to check off the whole order that they got in. And as soon as they finish the products over here, then they will move on to the expo screen. At least that's how it's currently configured. The expo screen currently only sees the tickets that are actually waiting for them. So all the other stuff that's waiting, that's coming through the kitchen, they don't see it yet. But that's a setting. You can configure that, whether you want to be able to see the things that the kitchen is working on already on the expo or not. Personally, I'm a fan of not showing that on the expo so that they only focus on the things that they actually have to serve out right now. But some people have other preferences, so that's just a matter of taste, in my opinion. I think that's a brief introduction about the kitchen displays. Any questions there?
No, not yet. Only if we can maybe do a deep dive on the kitchen displays in a future session. But
Yeah, that's
for now, no
definitely
questions.
let's definitely do that. One functionality that's a little hard for me to showcase, but I'd like to tell you about as well that we worked on is the rear display functionality. We've extended that with the ability to show an image carousel, basically some promotional images that will rotate through the screen, but also the possibility to, when you start the payment process on the front, the regular display, and then the customer tip prompt will show on the rear display, allowing a user to fill in a tip for a credit card payment that they're making. That's obviously more of a counter service functionality, and we've got quite a couple more in that direction coming up. Another interesting, more niche functionality that we worked on is the ability to add a timed product. So here I have a pool table, for instance, that I can add to the order, and if I send that in, it will use a price of 50 cents per minute. You can configure that however you like. Right now, you see that there's one pool table on this check. which has been going for 1 minute. We round up, and when you want to finish it, you can press this icon, and then it finalizes it into whatever amount of minutes you've been using the pool table for. This is the point where I would normally move on to the modifiers, but since we already covered those, I think I'd like to show the three-course menu as well, prefix menu. So this is basically a fixed menu with a fixed price where you can still pick some of the courses. So I'll select the starter, a main, and a dessert. You can also select the dessert later if you want that. And you will see that this price, once we add it to the check, gets distributed out over the products. And if you want, obviously, you can also add modifiers on top of these items that you select on the menu as well. I don't think they're currently configured like that because I'm going a little bit off script here. But it's obviously possible to modify them as well, just as we just did with the burger. Yeah. Then onto the different types of fees, cash discounts, service charges you may want to add on. As you can see here, the payment screen is already quite versatile. You can fill in a custom amount. Say I want to pay 10 using cash, and I want to pay the rest using a debit card. That's possible. You can also divide a check, as in the total amount, by a number. Let's say we're going to divide this check by 5 people, and everybody has to pay this amount. And you can also do a percentage, for instance, for a discount or whatever. There's also pre-configured discounts, like a $10 voucher over here. But that's it about this part of the functionality. I wanted to get into the fees, or the surcharges, which are we can't call them surcharges anymore, right? But it's something like that still. Here, cash is set up to have a 5% cash discount. David, I think somebody's still requesting to join.
Yes, we have a question from Stefan, but I think you just removed. Yeah, you just removed your. Oh, wait. I now invite you for the stage, and you can now accept your invite to ask a question, Stefan. Hi, Stefan. We can't hear you now. I think your microphone is off. Oh, wait. Now we can hear you, Stefan. And Stefan is gone again.
Wait for Stefan to find his microphone, and then we can put him back on.
Wait. He asked the question via chat. Please show the modifier or modifier once more.
Oh, sure, of course. So we've got this product over here, the burger. We've got it configured with modifiers, so that if you, for the burger, you pick the type of meat, for instance, the vegetarian option, and then you can select preparation. Don't think that makes that much sense for the vegetarian option, but for the meat option, obviously it does. And it's like this. There's a small thing that we still need to improve that's not in this version yet, but it's already in the development version, where the medium should be indented so that you see that the burger is medium, and then the next option starts at a new starting point of the row. But that's going to be released later this week. And this is the way you can do this, modifiers on modifiers. And the same thing here applies to the salad, where you pick a salad and then add the ranch dressing on top of it. It's telling me now free drink, not enough options have been selected, so I can't save this product yet. That's correct. And if I select the drink, I will be able to save it and send it in. Bringing me back to the cash discounting. You can see over here in small, but if you want to pay this check with cash, you get a discount. So instead of 33.57, you will be paying 31.89. And for credit cards, if you want to do it like this, I believe in some states it's still allowed. You can add a surcharge on the credit card. I didn't think, yeah. But at the same time, you can also work just with a service charge or admin fee. It's up to yourself how you name this. This is configurable in the back office, where you're just going across the board on charging an extra fee on the checks. So those three types of ways of modifying the check total are built into the system. Either a cash discount, a surcharge, or a service charge, admin fee, however you want to call it. And the last one that I want to show you real quickly is also the possibility to implement dual pricing, where you can basically combine a surcharge or a discount with the ability to modify the check after the fact. I'm going to show you in two different checks, which I will put like this. Here on the left, we can see a cash check for which cash discounting, so it's paid in cash, you can see it over here, for which cash discounting and dual pricing was enabled. And here on the right, you can see the very same check, but then paid with a debit card over here. Over here, the total amounts to 1050 or 1070 after the admin fee, because we've got all these fees enabled in this demo account. But let's look at 1050. And here on the left, you see that at 1050, because you've paid with cash, is translated into 996. And your product prices have also been modified accordingly, so that you get a clean receipt where you don't see any discount on the cash payment. I'll leave those up there. Then on to some more fees or taxes, really. Let's take a look at our daily report. We've also added the possibility. There's a lot of information here. I think that's mainly because the revenue groups haven't been set up in this license net, but you will be able to consolidate the revenue to revenue groups here. Just every group has its own revenue group. But let's go a little bit lower where we can see the tax information. There you can see that there's a tax of 7%, which is split out between a liquor tax of 5% and a sales tax of 2%, so that you can see those different types of taxes that are associated with a single product, and you can split them out neatly. One other functionality we added, because you can see there can be quite a lot of information on this report, we added the toggles here on top, which will allow you to remove certain parts of the report to make it easier to digest. For instance, if you're in a very simple environment where you deal with tips in an easy fashion, then maybe you don't need the tips information, but that's just handled by the waiter themselves. There's a lot of different ways you can modify it to make the report a little bit shorter, and this will also reflect on the printed variant of the report. Another nice thing I think we added is the ability to see the open checks here. So this shows you that there are still some checks open for today, which you should probably close before you finalize your report for the day. If you don't, it's not that big of a deal. The checks will just carry over until the next day or the day after, however long you want to let them carry over, and you can close them then. But obviously, you'd rather close it out all in the same day. And this is showing you the checks overview, with some of them indeed still being open. That's the ones we just worked on. One other thing we added, mainly for the manager. So we have a clock out report, which is for the wait staff, which should allow them to do their tips properly and then figure out what they can take home. But we also added a report for the manager, where a manager can see an overview of all of the users' reports from a single day. So you can see the revenue that Koen did today and the revenue that David did today. Yeah, that's separated out in different tables. It's a lot of information again, but it's very useful if you've got a bigger venue and have a lot of people, a lot of staff to look out for. I think that pretty much covers the basics of the reports. Then I really quickly want to move us into the back office to show you guys the custom roles functionality. So as you can see, I'm just working from a browser. Normally, our point of sale application runs in a native application on Windows, Android, iOS, but it also works in the browser, which is really useful and handy for debugging as well. So does our back office, of course, which you can reach from any device. And we've also just released the first version of our back office app, which allows you to get quick insights as an owner or manager into how your business is running. But the thing I want to show you in the back office is actually the new custom roles functionality. So if I go to the company settings here, then I can go to the roles, and there you see a couple of pre-configured roles which are in our system that you cannot change. You can view them to see what's in them, but you can't change them. But this one is a custom role that's set up specifically for this venue. And if you edit that role, then you will be able to see which permissions have been given or not given. So this user, for instance, cannot modify the stock, they cannot access quick service or delete a table, but all of the other permissions in the POS have been given to this user. You can search for permissions, or you can navigate through them, and they're split up across the different modules of our system. So the point of sale is obviously a module, the time registration is a module, gift cards are a module, and then this way we split up the entire system, so it makes more sense and it's easier to figure out where you should configure something also in the back office. Going off script again for the
Hi,
people.
Koen. We have two questions from Stefan. Can you go to the chat and then click on Stefan? There you can see his questions.
Chat. Yeah. So the second question I understand right off the bat. The question is, when you're building a burger and you're adding an option for like the free drink on top of it, is it possible to make that option a product instead of a modifier? And that is indeed possible in different ways even. The most basic way is that right now modifiers in our system are basically products. The only thing for us right now is that they follow the tags of the main product, and that's probably also what your question is about. What we also allow you to do is to link products to another product. So basically, they're suggested products, those product suggestions would show up on the modifier screen. So let's go to the burger over here. Right now, these are all modifiers and modifier groups, but you could also have some suggested other products to go with this product, and that would basically add that product and then allow you to modify that product from the screen again. So that's possible. And the other question is about paying. So let me just add some orders here. So if I put $5 here on this check, then pay with, for instance, cash, then it should leave you uh, the rest of the check still to be paid. And I think that's what the question was about. So maybe you're saying that that's not working like that for you guys. So maybe that's configured differently in your license, but that's something we can look at outside of the webinar. But that should work like this. Thanks, David. Back to the back office. Yeah, permissions. I mean, there's a lot of them. Take a look at them. You will probably be able to find whatever you want. If you don't, let us know. We can add permissions quite easily. One other page in the back office I'd like to take a brief look at because I think it's mainly interesting for people who haven't been working with Winston so much already, is the menu page. Because we have a visual editor for your menu where it's really easy to just see what's going on your point of sale screen, and where you can just modify a group and tell that group to go to a different place, for instance, a different printer or a KDS. But you can also modify a product or easily link option groups to products or unlink them again. So it's really intuitive, even for a restaurant themselves, to be managing changes to their menu. Whether you want that or not, that's a second question, because sometimes it's much better if the dealer takes a proper look at it and figures out what the customer wants to achieve. But it's, in my opinion, very nice that you can do this in a visual fashion instead of in the old list-based style. But obviously, the freedom is important to us, so we also offer you the possibility to do it from a list and there find a product and make modifications to that. The back office. Now, I think there's way too much in there, so I'm gonna skip back to the POS to show you price levels and price times. So I believe that our beers are configured to be in happy hour right now, so we can add a Budweiser. And you'll see that automatically the happy hour price of 50% off is applied to this beer. 175 for a Budweiser. That's a very cheap deal. I would get on that, and then you can add it to the order, and it gets added here on top. You can also, so I just called it price levels and price times because it's not just happy hour that you can do with it. You can also configure this for a very specific event. For instance, have higher prices on St. Patrick's Day, or have a ladies discount on a specific night. That's also something you can implement using the price levels. Then last but most certainly not least, if you don't have any further
I
questions.
think Marco wants to ask a question. I accepted your invite, Marco, so you can now come on stage. But you first need to accept our invite also.
Also have some stage fright every now and then, but that's
Wait.
right.
Marco asked his question via chat. The previous screen, can you go to pay without confirming the item directly?
Can you go to pay without confirming the item directly? I'm not sure I follow that question. The question is about auto sending items if you go to pay. That's actually one of the developments that we're working on right now. So right now, if you add items here and you click on pay directly, it's going to tell you, well, it's not sent. So you can send and pay. That's already possible. But we've got a request to basically remove that extra step in between, where you have to indicate what you want to do with it. So that if you just click pay, it will automatically send everything. But it already makes sure that there's no errors originating from it, but it's just an extra step for the wait staff. So we're improving upon that still. I see the feedback is nice with an exclamation mark, so I guess that was a good answer to the question. If there are no further questions, then I have to move on to the new split checks functionality. I believe David has prepared a table for me over here. Yeah, where
Wait,
we
we got one more question, maybe that one before the split checks module.
Sure.
Ray asked the question, on the course menu, can you hold and fire courses manually or automatically?
Good question. Let's pick a different table, because otherwise the split checks, I have to rewrite my explanation there. Let's add some products here. So let's give it a chicken soup. I don't think there's any courses configured in this license by default, but you can change them on the fly as well. So we've got let's do this one a little bit lower. Appetizer, main, dessert. We can send this one in to the kitchen. Let's take a quick look at how that ends up in the kitchen first. These chicken wings are already cold. Let's make sure they get served out. Here we see this ticket coming in. So the pumpkin soup as the appetizer, then a main, and then a dessert. This is also configurable, by the way, but by default it only shows the first course, so you only have to worry about that. But if you want, you can expand it by default as well. If we start this one and cross it off in the kitchen, then you can actually see that on the table that's happened. So if we go back to the table, the same table on the course overview, you can see that this pumpkin soup, it's already ready. These ones are just ordered, open, waiting to be picked up. But this pumpkin soup has already been prepared by the kitchen, and you can see that very easily on the table. That works from a terminal, but also from a handheld. So it's really easy to get insight on what's happening in the kitchen like this. But to your question, Ray, the appetizer course is currently the active course indicated by the dot over here. We can manually re-trigger it. That's not a very commonly used functionality. What you would normally do here is press the next course button, which will trigger the main course and turn that into the active course. So if we go back to the kitchen display right now, then you can see here that the main course has been requested to be served, and the kitchen can start on that as well. Normally, the appetizer course would have already been served out if you went to the staff and expo screen. So this would not show anymore. But right now we didn't finish that one. So now both of them are showing. Otherwise, only the mushroom soup would show. It's not currently yet possible to auto fire, so to configure it to fire in a certain amount of time. But that's definitely something that we will be working on in the next couple of months. So if you have this specific need for a site that you want to put live, please make sure that we know when it's going to happen so that we can work that in. Back to the split checks. So we're showing you that we have a check here that has been configured where some products have been sent on the table. Some products have been sent in seat 1, seat 2, seat 3. And if we go over here to split checks, then you can really easily split this check by seats. So this is a custom functionality. You can also share equally. You could also say, well, we're not going to be paying specifically what we order. We're just going to share the total of the check equally. I can show that one in a second. But right now, I'll just split them by seats. This will automatically split the whole check by seats, but you can also do it manually. You can also say, okay, I just want the products of seat 2 for now, and I want to do something with that. I will now just, oh, that's going too fast probably. You can say C2, and you can also move them back to the order. But if I press this button, then it will automatically create split checks for me, and it will divide what was on the table in equal thirds across the people that are on the checks. And now we can open one of these checks to register a payment, or we can press this print button, allowing us to print all the checks that are active. So you get the different checks to go with the credit card slips and stuff like that. It's equally easy to merge them back together again. So let's say these people decided they're paying together after all. You can just combine them. Now we have 2/3 over here, or even combine them all the way back together again. And that will also allow me to show how you can split from here. You click on split at the bottom, and you can just select any products that you would want and select the destination. The destination is basically either a different check that's already on this, a different sub check. So you can make a new one, or you can move this check into paying directly. So you want to pay it, or you can move it to a separate table if you want. So you can basically split off some products from one check to a table. I'm just going to pick new check now. So that will move the products that I just selected onto this different check. Let's
We
see.
got one small question from
Yeah.
Marco. If you can show again how to select one of the three checks that went a little bit too fast.
Yes, definitely. So I think the question is about when printing the checks. At least I think you can, over here on this printing dialog, you can select which checks you want to print right now. If you want to select a single check, then you can do it like this. I think that's a little bit cumbersome. I would rather than just open the check and press print over here, because this is the old order interface that you're used to already.
The question of Marco
No.
was about the order screen.
So let's go back to this table, which you can see by this icon that it has subchecks on them. You can open this, and now because it has subchecks on it, you will immediately be forwarded to the subchecks screen, allowing you to clicking here on the header to open a specific check. If you go back to a regular table, then obviously the order screen will open right away, but you can navigate to split checks by clicking here on split checks. Then automatically the splitting modal is open for you, and you can move, for instance, a soup to a new check on that same table. It appears to be clear. Cool. Let's move this one back together so that I can show you how to split evenly, share equally. Share equally will basically ask you how much people should we share this check across. So let's say we're with 4 people or 5 people. We're going to split it like this, and then you get 1/5 of each. That's a really easy way to split the check. And yeah, custom splitting of a check, I already just showed you. That's basically just pressing a single check and then saying, okay, I want to move this part to a different destination. For instance, back to the table that it was originally on. That's possible. I think that for me concludes the seminar. Are there any further questions about the split checks? How to undo a splitting like this is a question I see popping up. So yeah, I just split it in fifths, the check, and then moved this one over there. It's not yet possible. There's no undo button over here. That's one we do desire to add though. So right now the only way to combine them back together is to press the move button here and basically add them on top of each other to get them all back, which is a bit cumbersome. So that's why we're working towards the undo functionality for splitting checks over there. Great. any other questions surrounding split checks or the update in general? I don't think so. Then I'm going to go back over here. I hope you guys are as enthusiastic about all the new stuff we're putting out as I am. I'm here to tell you we're just getting started, and we definitely won't be slowing down anytime soon. I love working together with all of you, with a lot of people. We've already worked really closely together to get sites up and running, and I'm looking forward to working with many other very motivated dealers in the US market, so that together we can really create the future of POS in the US. There's some small bits of feedback we have on the right, but there's a lot of enthusiasm also with the staff using our system. So we're really happy with that. From table service venues to bars to coffee places, all types of the venues are using Winston, and we're really happy to be able to serve them all. Next steps. If you have any questions or you would like to start with Winston as a dealer, please reach out to partners@winstonpos.com. And we've also got a new event coming up, our dealer event in Columbia, South Carolina, from October 27th until October 29th, for which we will be sending out invites tomorrow afternoon. So I hope to see you, to personally see you there, and be able to tell you all the latest and greatest in Winston from there. One question coming in: when we are going to Colombia, Latin America. That one's not on the calendar yet, but we'll make sure to look at the tickets to get it going. I think this is the end for me of the presentation. If there are some final questions like visiting Latin America, then please feel free to shout. But if not, then I'm going to wish everybody a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you all soon.
No questions anymore, so we are going to close the webinar. Thank you all for joining.